Hello and welcome to another episode of me painting again. Today I decided I'd have a go at painting a seascape and let's see how I did. So what I'm doing is I'm just knocking off the paint on a paper towel. I've covered the entire canvas with a little bit of Phthalo Blue and Alizarin Crimson. Grabbing the 1-inch brush, using the 1-inch brush, getting a bit of white on it. There we go. I thought I'd show the palette. This setup isn't perfect yet. I'm still working on it. It's an ongoing process to try and get it so I can do it all myself. So I can just set up and paint, and I don't need to pester anyone to help me. And so it seems to be working at the moment anyway. So I'm just using little crisscross strokes and using a little bit of titanium white, and it just picks up the phthalo blue just like that. So easy, isn't it? So easy. And got that nice phthalo blue glow in the sky. And then as you're coming out, it picks up the Alizarin Crimson that I mixed in, and you get a bit of a sort of a lavender kind of colour, purpley colour. I'm just using little crisscross strokes because the liquid clear is on underneath, which is creating a bit of a shine back at the camera, which is a shame. I even had something over my light, so it diffused it a bit, but it still shines back. Not much I can do about that yet. Still working on it. So I'm tapping into a bit of cadmium yellow and white, and going into my warmest area of the sky, which is going to be about there. Just using little crisscrosses again. It's an easy way to blend. I picked that up obviously from Bob Ross, and learning the technique and continuing it because it just works. And if something works, well, just might as well just keep doing it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing these paintings. They're really fun to do, and it's kind of exciting to be able to do a painting in only a short space of time. Not saying you should always rush your paintings though. So I've got a bit more of the Cad Yellow there. Just brightening that glow a little bit there. And then putting in a bit more. Just avoiding that blue. Because if you put that yellow in that blue, it's going to go green. And I don't want it to be green. There's the almighty 2-inch brush. And I'm using very light crisscrossy strokes. Just blending that together. Start at the yellow and then move up to the blue. Don't do it the other way around, otherwise you'll end up with a green sky. Because obviously when you're blending, the brush picks up a little bit of the colour, and it will start mixing together. I'm just knocking the excess paint off there. That's the only reason I'm doing that with the paper towel. Just knocking the paint off, and it contains it all. So I'm using my finger, bit of finger painting, bit of Cad Yellow, bit of titanium white, spinning my finger on the paint. Get a little bit of paint on, and then put a little dot in the sky for where the sun is. A bit more. I didn't feel it was bright enough, so I put a bit more on. Nice little bright spot in the sky. It's such a fun thing to do, actually. And then get a nice clean dry brush and just whoosh, whoosh, very lightly just go over that. You don't want to put too much pressure on though, because you can just blend that away. You don't want to be blending it away. Grabbing a number 6 fan brush now. Number 6 fan brush. Did I just switch to a number 3 fan brush? And now, oh no, I'm still using a number 6. I've got the hiccups. I'm getting a mixture of Alizarin Crimson and Phthalo Blue, and I'm just putting in the cloud areas. Just using little circles, tapping. So I'm painting fairly fast. If you're following along with me, then feel free to pause it any time you like, so you don't have to rush. You can just spend a bit of time, relax, have a cup of tea. No need to rush. I'm rushing a little bit because I don't want this video to be 3 or 4 hours. I want to keep it under an hour at least anyway. So I'm thinking about cloud shapes, thinking about the clouds in front of that sky. The reason I put that blue in is because when you get a sunset or a sunrise, I'm not sure about sunrises actually, I've not been out there enough for the sunrise, but the sun sets, as it sets you get this really bright blue in the sky, and it looks fantastic, so I thought I would put it in this one, because I go out painting in plein air with my pochard box, and I like to study what happens and then bring it back into my normal bring it back into studio paintings, and then it gives your paintings a little bit of believability. Not that I'm saying this is a perfectly believable picture. The colour mixing, we're not worried about really. We're just doing it. We're just seeing what happens, seeing what effects we can create as we're playing with the colours. Don't want to worry too much about it. I want to relax and enjoy it instead. It's amazing what you can do with a fan brush once you get used to it. So I'm mixing my colour, just using that dirty fan, putting a bit of yellow and white in there. You get kind of a dirty yellow really, but it works well for this highlight here under the cloud. Just imagining that the sun is hitting underneath there. And if you want to make it a little bit hotter, you can put a bit more crimson or bright red into your mixture. That'll warm up the highlights a bit. It's totally up to you. So I'm very gently just looking for those spaces where the light would hit. Throwing a bit of crimson in extra now and then, because I don't want it to go green. Make sure there's a red in your colour, stop it from going green. So when I was thinking of doing a seascape, originally I thought, oh, I'll do a blue one. I'm still going to do a blue one, but do one with blue water. I thought, oh, I'll do a red one. I like doing red ones, and these sort of lavendery ones. In fact, when I did a bit of an exhibition once, I had some paintings in this exhibition. I sold a seascape similar to this. So if you're interested in selling, do a painting like this, probably sell it. So I'm just grabbing some more paint on the fan brush there. Just a bit more of the mixture, just really highlighting some of the areas. I need to remember to move my light at a different angle so I get a better view. I moved my camera slightly recently just to get a better view, and making sure that I don't sit too far forward and block the view, because I do that. Sometimes I'm so close I'm almost in the picture. I mean, always best to be back though. You sit back and you can have a look at your painting. If you get too close and you're right in there, you're not seeing the whole picture, and you can get a little bit lost in it. You want to see the whole effect. Yeah, I was working out another painting in my head while I was painting this actually. I was thinking, I could do a bit of a skiing scene, mountains and trees and sort of different to what I've done before. So anyway, I'm always thinking about my next painting, you see. So here we go. We're just putting in the structure of the wave, thinking about the shape of the wave, where the splash is going to go, working it all out, just drawing it with a little bit of white. It's quite simple, isn't it? A simple shape. Thinking about the wave behind it. If you're wondering about that shape, maybe pause it now and then get a piece of paper and just do a drawing of that shape of the seascape. I mean, that shape of the wave. If you draw that out on a piece of paper, then that shape, it'll always work the way it is. You could do hundreds of seascapes just using that little shape of the wave, and you can change it very slightly, but it always works. Actually, when I think about it, when I did craft fairs, I always sold seascapes. It's always a painting that people like. They like to see an ocean. A bit of movement for their living room wall, or maybe even their toilet wall. I know some of my paintings have made it to people's toilets. Especially little sunsets in the bathroom. So we're using the fan brush, and we're just using little rocking motions to get that effect of lots of things happening in the background, all the different waves. See, that was an exaggeration of the rock. That's just a rocking motion. And if you wanted, you could have put masking tape along the horizon, but I'm quite lazy, so I didn't bother. I just went for it. I'm just thinking about the sea over there. Not as bright over there though, so I didn't do too much. So I'm getting some colour on the filbert brush, because we need to work on the eye of the wave. So you just scrub in a little bit of colour. Just scrub it in. And then taper it off a bit. So that light is shining through the water there. Use our imagination. So just wiping that. So it's picked up a bit of the red, and we want to keep it clean in the eye of the wave. Keep that paint clean. You don't want that to get dirty, and it can get dirty quick. There we go, look. It's got some Cad Yellow, some white, and there's some crimson in there as well. It's good to be using the big palette again. I do like the big palette. So easy to clean up afterwards. So we've got a bit more colour on in the eye of the wave now, a bit stronger, a bit brighter. And we just need to mix it up a little bit using the 2-inch or 1-inch. I'm using the 2-inch I'm using a 1-inch brush today. Use the top corner of the bristles just to stir it up a little bit. Just stirring it. And there we go. Stirred up a little bit. Just mixing it, and pulling a little bit, getting that the wave shape, thinking about the shape of the wave. And then I remembered I'd not pulled back the wave. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I couldn't. I'd forgot about this bit, so I thought, oh well, it doesn't really matter. You can do it any time. In fact, that was quite a good time to do it. Don't worry about it, you just play along. Just enjoy yourself. Just doing little rocking motions there. Little rocking motions, and then pulling that one back as well. Little rocking motions. Well, you're starting to get a nice wave effect. And just pulling this over, loaded my paint, just thinking of the curve of the wave as it curves round. There we go, curve round. There we go. That works really well. It's starting to appear to be turning over now. There I am picking stuff up. Always dropping my paints, not my paint, my brushes I should say, and my paint tubes. Always dropping stuff. I could be on the biggest table in the world, huge, like a 10-foot table. I'd still drop stuff on the floor. Now we need a lavendery mixture for the shadow part of the wave. So I'm just spinning my brush, thinking of where the shadowy part of the wave is. The splash of the wave, I should say. So we're splashing and churning up. And it's a mixture of the Phthalo Blue and Alizarin Crimson, just mixed there on the brush. So you're not really using that many colours in this painting. I've only got Phthalo Blue, Alizarin Crimson, Cadmium Yellow, and Vandyke Brown, and then a little bit of white. So not many colours. So using the filbert brush, just loading it and then pushing up. Keep loading that brush and push up where the highlight is. This is where the highlights are. Where the light's just catching that froth. I have put loads of paint on then. Really loaded it up. I enjoy doing this actually. I really enjoy doing the foamy bits. Something about doing the lights. It's just so much fun, isn't it? You get to see it all coming together. But you don't want to overdo it. It's very easy to overdo this part. You start enjoying yourself, having fun, and then before you know it, you've filled it all in and it's all light. And you want it to be just light, just at that point. You don't want it to all be light. You need to keep your dark and your light. Otherwise you don't have anything. You need light to show dark, you need dark to show light. You need them both, so you be careful. Don't enjoy yourself so much you get rid of all your darks. So I thought I'd do another layer of light there. And I'm restraining myself. Like, no, that's it, don't do any more. And using the 1-inch brush again, just stirring this up. Stirring it up in between the dark and the light, where it comes together. That's where you want to be. And do tiny little circles, and there we go. Nice and soft. And you get sort of a blurry, blended effect there. And then what I did is I got into some more of this colour, and I thought, well, this would be really dark here. There's so much water falling over. The light can only get through to so much, so I want that to be quite dark there. And then it's kind of like 3 layers then. And I decided to do it quick using the whole brush, really mixing the whole thing. You don't have to do that to make it a bit darker. You can keep it a bit lighter if you want, a bit more crimsony. It's just something I thought when I was doing it. You're making all these decisions when you're painting, you say. You've got to think about it. But you can change it. When you're doing your painting, don't feel like you have to do it the same. You can do it different. You can change things. You can change the colour scheme. You can do the sap green sky. Or you could use Indian yellow. Or you could have it more red, more crimson in the sky. You can do whatever you like. You can either have the background land or not. You can have the sun in the sky or not. So I got a bit of that dark colour. Just want to make that a bit stronger, that edge there. So I'll put a bit of dark just to separate that. And I kept thinking this needs softening a bit there. To be honest, when I watch myself, I'm always thinking, I wouldn't have done that. But then again, I did do it, so. It's okay though. I know how this finishes. So I like doing this as well, using this rocking motion and create this water effect. Isn't it fantastic that you can create like this a watery effect just using these like rocking motions? Your mind starts telling you there's movement going on. I think it's fantastic. It's always amazed me, this. I remember when I first watched Bob Ross doing this when I was watching The Joy of Painting, and my eyes got wider and wider as I was watching. So this is amazing. I mean, so quickly you get like this effect. And I'm looking where the light is and trying to think, well, maybe there's a bit more sparkle in areas where that light's hitting. My chair squeaks a lot, actually. Every time I sit back, it goes. So I'm just pulling these out, pulling a bit of this light out. It's funny when you're painting, the paint isn't paint to me. I never think of it as paint, which is weird. I think of it as light. I think, especially when you're doing a black canvas, I consider it this is light. Just thinking about all the foamy patterns. This is what creates the shape of your wave. These lines, this foam. I'm giving it a bit of a shake. I'm shaking my brush a little bit. Sort of shaking it out. Shaking that foam out of my brush. I was looking at all the foam pans actually when I was at the coast last time. And just thinking about how to paint such a complex scene, really, when you look at it, when you see all the different foam patterns. It's very complicated. I was doing a painting of a wave while I was there. It was up north in Scarborough, actually, and I set myself up near these rocks, and the waves were splashing, and I managed to do a couple of paintings. So I'm just pulling out some Vandyke Brown, cutting across, getting a big block of paint, and I'm going to put in some rocks here. Where there's rocks where this wave is smashing up against it. So I'm blocking it in with this, just chucking a load on. It's quite dark, Vandyke Brown. It's a nice thick paint, is the Vandyke Brown. Just blocking in the shapes, thinking about rock shapes. Put another rock over here. That's similar to the rock that I was painting when I was outside. It's funny actually, when I was painting it, this chap came over and he goes, "Oh, can I have a look at that? What you're painting?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, have a look." And and he looked and his jaw dropped, because I really did manage to capture the wave on that. I really did. I was really happy with that painting. It was a little bit cold where I was, and but I really wanted to do the painting, and I was really happy with it. And with his face lighting up and sort of his jaw dropping, I realised I did a good job with that one. So I'm thinking about these shapes, the water, and the base of that rock where it meets with the water there. I could do reflected light in the water as well from the sky, which I do later. So I'm mixing up a blue colour. Now I'm thinking some of these rocks, they're not quite going to get the light from the sun, but they will get a bit of bounce light from the sky. So I put a little bit of blue colour, thinking that phthalo blue sky might bounce down onto the rock. Some of the wet parts of the rock might pick up some colour. So I thought, why not? It's very subtle actually. You can't really see it that well on camera. I have to remember things like that. You need to make it a little bit brighter than you'd normally do, just so the camera picks it up. Otherwise, it just looks the same. So it looks the same. But at least I know I've done it. Using light pressure again as well. You're always doing that when you do that. Light pressure. And I thought, well, the sun had hit this one, so light pressure, bit of sunlight hitting that, and then this one as well, just more on the edge. It's fun doing the knife. It's almost like sculpture. I see it as that anyway. I see it as almost like being a sculptor. There's some light going zinging through there. Splash of light. I like it. I remember thinking, well, I might have overdone that. But I quite liked it. I'm always aware of overdoing it because I've overdone painting so many times that I always have to rein myself back in. Try not to do the overdoing bit. Now actually I could have left it there and it looks pretty good. I thought maybe there's some water just splishing down there. I could just have some little bits of water just coming down the rocks from the previous splash. Now if your paint doesn't stick when you do that, you just add a little bit of liquid clear or liquid white or a little bit of paint thinner. You just need a bit thinner just so it sticks. Like I've said in previous episodes, and you'll get bored of me saying it. But a thin paint sticks to a thicker paint. It just flows on the top, and if you use light pressure it sticks nicely on top and doesn't mush together. Tends to work, well personally I think it tends to work better using the Bob Ross paints if you can get them. I know some people in different parts of the world can't get them, so you just need a thick paint, a dry paint. So I just sparkled a bit of light in there, thinking where the sunshine is, and just thought, maybe a little glimmer of light here and there. Just makes it look a little bit better. Using a liner brush now, I loaded it with some yellow and some liquid clear. Naturally, I put too much paint on that. And it's not really that thin either. See, it's a habit for me for loading loads of paint on my brush, because when I go outdoors painting, I need to paint quick because the light changes, and I've done the same with this brush. There's just too much paint on there. It needs to be a lot thinner as well, but never mind. It still works. Still thin enough. See, I'm enjoying myself there, getting all this highlight on there. Putting all these different shapes in there. You start picking out waves and start really having fun. Putting in different shapes and thinking about them phone patterns still. Thinking about the lights. These little strokes I'm doing now, little curved strokes, when you do loads of them and they kind of like cross-hatch in a way, but they're curved cross-hatching, it gets that effect of a lot of movement in the water. It's a really good little technique. I learned that from someone who specialised in painting water. Got it out of a book. Can't remember the name of the artist actually. You pick up all kinds of things though as you're learning, don't you? When you look at the master painters like Turner and look at how he's painted the sea, it's fantastic. He's one of my favourite artists actually. After going to the Tate and seeing a lot of his paintings, I thought it was amazing. Yeah, so I started to think to myself that rock could do with a rim light, because the way the sun is coming from, it would probably hit one side. I'm using the liner again. I've got a little bit of more of a purpley colour. I thought I would hit some areas with a different colour, like a darker colour. Maybe there's something in that wave. Bring that round. Yeah, and using a bit of light and just putting in some little splashes here and there, little fine splashes of water. Just tap your 1-inch brush into some white, or I should say your light colour, and just put a few little splashes in. Try not to overdo them as well. So I didn't put enough paint on that one. Just going to put a few birds in the sky, because when I'm at the seaside I always see a lot of seagulls. At Scarborough, where I was, the seagulls there, well, they're massive, and they're not afraid to steal your food either. You'll be outside with an ice cream or a bag of chips, and they'll swoop down at you. They're not afraid. As I found out. So I thought I'd put a bit of a rim light around that, because that would be where the light would hit. It's fun painting rocks. I like painting rocks because you can think about all the different shapes and things. And then I thought it needed something here. I needed a bit of dark there. I felt like I've made it a bit too light there, I was thinking. So I put a bit on my finger, just put it in. It didn't blend very well. And I thought to myself, oh no, what have I done? So I came in now with a brush blend it a bit. No, I've made that area a bit darker. And I have to say, when I was doing that bit, I started to internally think to myself, oh no, what am I doing? Am I overdoing it again? So I'm just dotting in loads of dark spots there. Pulling out some dark spots just helps with the thinking about the froth. And I'll put a little bit of a frothy area there. I thought I'll lighten this bit there with my finger, just a bit of light in that wave. So these things that I'm doing is these little extra little bits, probably not needed, to be honest. Just letting that blend a little bit. Thinking where the dark areas, there wouldn't be that much light. I wish I could just grab the brush off me. Stop painting. You don't need to do anymore. You're enjoying yourself and you think, oh, I'll do a bit more. I'll do this, just add a little bit more dark there, a little bit of light there, and really spend hours and hours on it. And if you're painting at home, then why not do that? But for me, I'm trying to get something finished in a reasonable time, and I do get carried away. But there we go. There's a seascape painting. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you give it a go. It's a fun one to do. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in another episode. Cheers. Bye.